Okay, hello, people of the internet. My name is Ian Althusser, and tonight or today I'm sitting here with Cindy, an ever evolving, intuitive channeler. Let's put it that way. And we're sitting here today, and we're starting a conversation about asking and receiving, and a lot of other magical things, hopefully. But first, I will give the mic to Cindy, and she will do a little bit of a meditation for us to ground.
Yeah, thanks, Ian. Ian is my personal astrologer, and I have this friendship with him that I like to. We're included in each other's lives, even though Ian, you're in Europe and I'm in Canada. We can still connect over such long distances, via the internet.
Oh,
And the same goes with energy, right? Where energy doesn't know any walls. And so, just to start off this conversation that we're going to have, I'll do the grounding sort of prayer, you could say. It's an intention, it's an invitation that we do at the beginning of our meditation groups that we host. My partner Joe and we host it with Heal and Learn and on Fox Streamer. But yeah, this grounding invitation is just a good way to start off. So I'll do that with anyone that's listening and see if you can learn a few things, some words, some intentions. So closing your eyes and taking a breath and settling in your body, connecting with your breath. Invite in Creator's infinite energy, where it be a light that comes down upon you and fills you, or it's the light inside of you that expands, giving that energy permission to fill all the cells of your being. It's God's love, Creator's energy, and it fills you and expands your auric field, giving it permission to fill your auric field and expand out into your etheric fields. And allowing that energy to move through you, down through your feet and into Earth Mother, connecting with the crystal core center of Earth. Allowing Earth Mother's energy in, invite her in, and ask Earth Mother to help you to stay grounded and present in your body. That you become like a spark plug on Earth Mother's body, that as you move throughout your day, you're this conduit of energy between God and Earth Mother and through you. That you allow yourself to be a clear channel, allowing that flow to happen. There's no need to hold on to energy. It's always giving you what you need in the moment and flushing out anything you don't need. Giving permission to let go of all those things that you do not need at this time. And invite in your spirit guides. They go under many names. You may call them angels, guardians, guides, masters, teachers, grandmothers, grandfathers, ancestors. The ones that know you and how to help you into your future. Invite them in and give them permission to do the work that they know you need done. That way you allow them to do what's needed versus you trying to control what it is that they are doing. Giving them permission to protect you, keep you safe in your energy as you're a conduit of energy for God, Creator. And you move about your day, keeping you safe, grounded in your own energy space. And allowing yourself to be a clear channel for whatever needs to come through in your thoughts, in your words, in your actions, that you're a clear channel for your soul's energy. your soul's truth. And then just let that settle in for you. Come back to this conversation that we're going to have here today. And if there's any energy that you need, that the universe is the one that's providing it. It's like, it's not coming from me, it's not coming from Ian, that anyone that's listening to this conversation, it's their spirit guides. They just invited them all in to be with them in their home, in their thoughts, in their body, and allowing yourself to receive what it is that they're giving you. Because like, we're always asking questions, or maybe we're not always, and we should be. Because when we're asking questions of the universe, it's amazing what can come up for you if you're also willing to recognize and receive your answers. Yeah, I have I have a bit of a story. I mean, we all have our stories of who we are and how we got to where we are in lives, and everything is your choice. Nothing is you're not made to do anything without your deciding it for yourself. As much as you think that somebody else did it to you, in some cases we like to pawn it off on somebody else. It was really our decision if we're going to stay in that relationship or if we're going to stay in that job, whatever. It's up to us. There was so like, if I go way back, I was raised in a large family. I'm the 5th child out of 9 kids, and my mom was practicing Mormon, and so then my father was, and then all the kids were raised in the Mormon religion. And as a kid, when you're taught this is how you get your answers, and this is, you know, how it's done, this is what happens when you die, and so someone's telling you all these things, and as a kid, it's like you question things, but these are the people that are answering my questions. So I felt, and now looking back, I'm sure there's a limit. There's a ceiling that I was raised in. And so when I became a teenager, I was definitely a wild child and did my own thing, and definitely wasn't a practicing Mormon by any means. And then when I hit right around, I was 21, I think, I had an accident, and I had fallen over, and I hyperextended my knee. So I kicked myself in the face, basically, and I tore the tendons in behind my knee. And that was like a full on, okay, things have changed. Like, you can't do anything, you can't work a job, and you have to recover from this. What is recovery? I'm so young, even an injury. So it was something that directed my path a different way. And I didn't have an income, didn't have a job, slowly started to heal from this experience. And then I got a job working at a casino. And that's like, it was so funny, even how I got that job. I needed a job so bad. And then my sister says, "Oh, Cindy, the casino called for you today." And I was like, "What? Oh, they're doing interviews." I'm like, "Oh, I got an interview, but I don't know who to call." So I drove down to the casino all dressed up in my, you know, interview stuff, and had my resume in hand. And the lady's like, "Oh, they're not doing interviews here. They're doing it at a different building." So I just went there and I sat there and I was waiting, and they come out of the interview room and they're like, "Who are you?" And I said, "Oh, I'm Cindy." And they said, "You're not on our list." Like, we don't want to interview you, basically. So they're like, "What the hell? We got time." So they interviewed me. They gave me a job. And it was like, they laughed about it for years afterwards, how I got that job. It was really strange.
But did it start with like you asking, maybe it was even like subconsciously, but you were asking, like you were needing a job. So you're basically putting an intention out to the universe or whatever you want to call it. And it,
Right.
in a very strange way, you know, it seems it got answered as well.
Yeah. And not only that, like, I think, I was about 21, and I was also really like love hungry. Like I wanted a man in my life and I wanted marriage. Because when that knee injury happened, I went back to church because I
Mm.
was like, what else am I going to do? So I went back to church because that's all the only place that I knew where answers were, or there was something other than. And I decided to like change my life with this knee injury, which was quitting smoking cigarettes and quitting alcohol. And so I'm back to church and I'm being what I term the good Mormon. And my friends laugh at that one because it's like, what's a good Mormon? What's a bad Mormon? I don't know. And I was like really wanting a man in my life and a partner. And so I was really emanating out there, you know, in my prayers. It's like, I want that loving husband, you know, bring him into my life. So there was a guy that I was working with at the casino, and we moved really fast, and we were going to get married. I think something like 3 months after we started dating, it was like, hey, you want to get married? And it's like, okay. So then 6 months later, we got married. So it was a 9-month thing total. In that time frame, I was like, should I marry this person? And so that's again a question I'm putting out there. And I got no's everywhere. It was just like, I had psychic readings that said, do not do this. I had, yeah, just one thing after another where someone said, why would you do that? Don't do that.
Just
And I
really
got pissed
curious.
off.
Oops, sorry.
Yeah, no.
Was it? I don't know, like deep Mormon, belief things about it. I haven't gone very in depth with it, but like going to a psychic reading as a Mormon, is that somehow kind of like
Well, you
forbidden or
could.
no?
Well, not really. They have their own psychic readers in the
Okay,
Mormon
okay,
church, but they just call them different. They call them the patriarchal blessings that
okay.
give you a projection of your life. Um, so for me, I wasn't, I guess, maybe the best Mormon because I went to get that psychic reading, and because I love that stuff. And obviously it shows it's part of who I am, very intuitive. And she was right on what she had said for me. And I thought she was full of shit in the sorry in
Nice.
the beginning. I was just like, oh, that was a waste of money. Oh my gosh! But she was probably the most accurate psychic reader I had ever had. It was so funny. Yeah, and I even consulted the higher up church person and asked, you know, like, should I marry this person? And he laughed at me and he's like, what, you want me to get my crystal ball out? He's just like, I can't tell you that. But I found answers everywhere that told me not to get married to him.
Mm.
And so I got married to him because it was my choice. And it lasted for about 10 years, of which a palmist, and I got my palms read just after I married him on the streets in Vancouver. And the palm readers was like, you won't last 10 years in this relationship. I
Mm.
thought, again, he was full of shit too. But so I received answers. I was asking in prayers or people around me, intentions, and I was getting my answers, but I didn't like the answers I was getting. So I just did whatever I wanted to do, which is free choice, that whole free will bit that we have. And then it got to that point 10 years later where it's like, okay, this isn't working out at all. And there was this disconnect in my energy fields. It was like, I don't have anything in common with this person anymore. And as events go, I left that marriage. And that was in November 2009. And then in December 2009, I got an email saying last trip to Peru and last call to Peru. And I was like, oh, last call to Peru. I didn't get the first one or the second one. I'm like, I could go to Peru. I'm on my own now. I've got my own access to funds and I don't have to ask anyone's permission type of deal. And so I say, yeah, I'm going to go to Peru. And then, so I booked it all. And then I was like, okay, well, why am I going to Peru? And I'm like, I should have some kind of intention behind this. And I had put out to the universe, that's my lingo now, putting it out to the universe. I just said, okay, I want to grow more spiritually with my trip to Peru.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Right? It's pretty big. It's pretty, I'm not saying how I'm going to grow spiritually,
Yep.
but and you can almost forget that you ask certain things. So I go to Peru and I attended all those sacred sites, and I ended up doing ayahuasca in the jungle, and I did all these ceremonies. I did lots of ceremonies. And I came back to Canada and I felt like the same person. Like I didn't have this, what I wanted as a spiritual awakening, which I thought if I go to sacred sites or if I do prayers at this place or if I do this ayahuasca ceremony, I'm going to have this enlightened experience and my third eye is going to open up and I'm going to be totally connected to God and my life's going to forever change. Like that was probably how I truly felt inside, that I thought that's what was going to happen. And none of that really happened for me at all. It was a lot more subtle. So it's like I get back and I'm really lost in Canada. Like I have no husband, I have no job, I have no place to live. And I'm like, well, where do I go? What do I do? So I traveled around and I went camping different places, and it started getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And then on my travels, I looped around and I stopped in Edson, Alberta. And I met up with, I stayed the night at a couple's house that I had met on the journey in Peru. And there they introduced me to my now partner, Joe Greenland. And ever since meeting Joe, my life has completely changed in the way of spiritual growth. And so I got what I asked for by growing more spiritually by going to Peru, because it was there I met the people that introduced me to the man that I'm with that has helped me to grow more spiritually. You get what you put out there. You get what you ask for, just not in the way you think you're gonna get it.
I think that's one of the most painful things for a human being to understand. Like you're asking a thing, you have this kind of like vision or something in your mind that what's going to happen, and something entirely different is happening, but it's still bringing you the thing that you actually wanted or desired or asked for. Basically.
Yeah, no. Totally. Yeah, for sure. And it just different timelines, yeah. And so over the 10 years that I've been with Joe as my partner, he was my friend for a good year and a half. And then we decided to try a relationship. And it's been a complete learning for me to have this kind of a relationship with a partner. And it's been awesome. I have grown so much in how to use my mind and my energy and how to feel energy around me and how my thoughts create energy. And that energy will attract the experience to me. And so even for today, this conversation that we're scheduled to have, I was like, what are we going to talk about? I don't know what to talk about. So I put it out there to the universe and I was like, okay, guide me to what it is that we need to talk about. And I was getting nothing for until last night. And a friend, she had given me a suggestion. And then this morning, all of a sudden, it just became really clear and settled inside of me. It's like, talk about how we ask for things and in a process of receiving it. And that in itself was exactly what I did for today. Ask, well, what am I supposed to talk about? That's being a channel of receiving the message and allowing it to guide the words that come through our mouths, the thoughts that go through our heads, and that feeling in our bodies. So get used to asking questions. This is my suggestion for anybody that's out there that's listening to this, is get creative with your questions. How are you going to blow the ceiling off of, I want more money? It's like, give me more money. And it's like, well, there's different ways you can do it, and then where your energy can match the vibration of your thought. Yeah.
Do you, what's your personal preference? Do you, when you, let's say, when you ask things for yourself, do you make it as specific as possible, or do you leave, you know, kind of things there to be decided, let's say?
Yeah, it's definitely evolved. Sometimes you just need that specific just to get your attention on it long enough for you to start breaking it open a little bit more. Like, and there's about receiving it too. So today is the 31st of October, 2020. There's a full moon today, but it's also my return to work day. I've been off work for 6 weeks, and it's a full moon. It's the Day of the Dead, and it's time change day in Canada. And it's like, and I work in an old folks home, you could say, right? So it kind of this weird energy, and I don't know if I really want to do this, you know. So I put it out to the universe because I felt like this is going to be a really hard night at work. And I didn't want that for my first night. So I put it out to the universe, and it's like, okay, help me with this. Help me to figure out. Oh, no, I just said, I give it to you, God, basically. I give it to you my first day back at work to help me to deal with this. And I left it at that. So that's my sort of surrendering or asking at the same time. So I got a phone call from my manager yesterday, and she had told me that, oh no, your return to work date's on November 1st. And I was like, oh, sweet. I don't even have to go to work today. And I'm like, and then it got taken care of. I didn't do anything except for sort of like release the anxieties that I was having about it, and just like allowing the energy to flow, because I felt like if I held on to that anxiety, I would have pulled it right to me, and I would have manifested that experience. So when you're asking things, sometimes it is just more getting it outside of you, so then that way you can create space so that your energy can expand around that subject. And I mean, it's always an evolving thing. We never reach the destination. We're always learning and growing, but we all do begin somewhere. And if you look back on your life, you can see your beginning point. Like my beginning point could have been my knee injury, which made me get that job at the casino, and or it had me go back to the Mormon church or something like that. That could have been my beginning, or Peru could have been my beginning. I mean, they both could have been beginning points, but they help you to move forward into your future. So always desiring a bigger future for yourself and seeing yourself in the future, doing work that is meaningful. And the universe will respond in kind to you, I believe. So, yeah.
I just want to point out one thing. I think it's huge, and a key here is the part of letting go as well, because you mentioned, you put it out there, you got it kind of like out of yourself, it's kind of agitating or annoying you, and then you put it out like, hey, this is what I actually want, instead of what was going on in your mind. It's like, oh my God, this is going to happen, blah blah blah. But then you put it out there, and one of the hardest parts of this is, the letting go of the outcome, of the actual outcome. Do you have any kind of maybe your personal recommendations, or what you do maybe to, ease or let go more, let's say?
Totally. What here? One practice that Joe had helped me with when I was getting divorced, and we had an agreement, me and my ex-husband, and he was going to settle X amount of dollars with me. And then how it worked out was that he decided against that. He was like, no, I'm not going to give you anything, and actually you're going to have to pay me. And I had no income. I had nothing going on for me. And my lawyer dumped me because he's like, you don't have any money. I don't want to work with you. And so I was like, oh no, I'm the victim of this situation. It's like terrible and horrible. And I don't know how I'm going to survive.
It's a bit of a difficult situation. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, of course, I have my agenda. It's like, I deserve that money and I should have it that way. But, saying that and yelling it is not going to change the situation that actually I'm in right then. So Joe had suggested to me was to take a bundle of incense sticks and have one big prayer. And it's like we did at the beginning of this conversation, is like invite in Creator, Earth Mother, all your spirit guides, and give them permission to look at everything. And my intention, my asking for, was that my divorce be settled in a way that was fair for everyone. Nice. So it was kind of keeping it really open, not saying I want this amount of dollars, but that it was fair for everyone and it would be finished at the right time. Nice. So I wasn't putting on when it needed to be done. And then every time I burn one of these incense sticks, I release this prayer to the universe. And it's like the smoke as it's burning through, it's like carrying it to the heavens. That's my imagination, seeing that prayer being dissolved into the ethers and getting the spirits to start doing the work. So that was, I think, September, August. Yeah, maybe August or September. And then I think it was January. The ex-husband contacted me and told me that he had another partner in his life and she wanted to get married. And so he needed a divorce from me and he's going to give me everything that I wanted. And then in the end, it cost me $300 for the lawyer's fees. And I didn't have to pay all the lawyer fees I had before because the lawyer fired me. So I wasn't held to that payment from him. Everything worked out in my favor and I got exactly what I needed. And I let it go with the incense stick and then burning of the prayer. And I lived my life not thinking about it. And it just came to me. That's one way.
I think that's a huge one. I think like one of the biggest things I see in my own life and in the lives of others is the asking maybe is it can be done very consciously, maybe sometimes unconsciously, but then the letting go part is kind of like maybe even the key to that, the creation of what we want or of our desires. And I kind of like that, that prayer and that the situation and sitting down and, putting it really intentionally out there.
Yeah. And I think also just checking in with your feelings and the feeling that you're generating is sometimes what's keeping it stuck to you too. And it's like, why am I feeling this way? How do I move this energy outside? It's like draining it into the earth, like in the beginning of this conversation again, it's just like allowing yourself to be like a spark plug on Earth Mother where the energy is continually flowing. Because if you're getting anxiety built up around you, it's the energy is not moving and that's not letting go, right? Not letting go of a thought that's circling in your head or a tightness on your chest. There's a holding happening and just giving yourself permission to allow it to flow through you down into the earth and energies from the earth to come back up into you give it to God. Sometimes it can be simple.
I just have one thing I want to maybe bring in here is judgment. I think because judgment and letting go and keep or holding on is really closely tied. So what I see is when there's a difficult situation, let's say you're that difficult situation, and there's all these judgments of oh this is bad for me, and oh I'm the victim, like you mentioned. This energy can actually keep you like in that pattern and in that, I don't know, repeating of that pain or whatever you want to call it. So doing your best to be through prayer or movement or whatever it is, or your own type of prayer to release that judgment or release that judgment for the situation at hand is really important as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that's where you can also evolve your brain, like become the master of your mind. Don't let your mind be the master of you. That's just a nice phrase that I have that I've got from Joe as well. It's like, who's the master of your life? And it's like, is your brain the one that's going to do this? It's like, no, you tell your brain what it wants to think, basically. You don't just let it tell you what it is that's going on. So why am I thinking this thought? Why am I stuck in this thought? It's like, what do I need to do to move this energy out of me? Or what do I need to see here? Ask to see everything. It's like your boss might be a total dick to you all the time. And it's like, well, why? I want to see it all. And when you allow, that's an asking. I want to see everything around why my work is doing this to me. You will start to get all the answers coming to you. And then
Yep.
you decide with what you're going to do with it the next way. But yeah, it's just becoming the master of your mind and catch it. Like you catch when your mind is creating a story, because it also creates an energy. And I like that movie Revolver. It's a Guy Ritchie film, and it really helps you to see how you're stuck in your own mind, and your answers lay behind that fear, that anxiety.
That's an intense movie. Yeah, I would recommend that movie for that purpose as well. I just wanted to ask something, but now my mind was like, ooh.
One
um,
thing when I find that I get in judgments of other people and where they're at on their journey or what they're doing, and I catch it in my head, just like, ooh, that person's got a little bit of work to do or something. I will just do a simple God bless. God bless phrase inside my head. And sometimes I'd have to say it like 5 times in order for me to get out of my judgment of them, because my judgment of them doesn't do me any good. Unless I've got to learn something in it all, questioning what is it that I need to learn. But it's a good way to pull yourself out of judgment of other people or other situations. Is just send them a blessing, because then you're going to see more blessings than you are going to see validation to why you're judging them.
I want to just maybe touch upon fear as well here, because you mentioned asking to see all the things, that's a big thing, to ask, because very often the things then coming back to us, maybe we don't like them so much. So it is a bit of a courage thing, or building up courage within yourself to be able to start asking those bigger questions, because you're most likely going to be shown things you're maybe not so fond of, let's say.
Yeah, I mean, you're totally right, for sure. But then at the same time, doesn't mean like if you're shown it, it's like, well, why am I seeing it? Because there's something in it. It's a gift of some kind for you. And it's like you can't decide. It's not that you can't decide, but how do you decide what is good and bad in the world when you're asking to see things, because it might be what you need to understand to prepare yourself for the next step. But if you're like, I don't want to see that because that's too difficult for me to deal with right now. But it's like, if you don't see this now and you don't learn how to deal with this now, in the future, 10 years from now, you're going to be screwed.
Yep.
Basically, you don't know how it's actually helping you to see the difficult things. It, like you said, gives you courage. You need courage to go into that. But when you trust that you've got the universe support, you've got your, there's a whole bunch of unseen energy around you that's supporting you. It's not going to just destroy you in the minute if your intention is to like learn and grow and evolve and be part of the future. That's another intention that I suggest for everyone to be in. It's like, if I'm meant to be in the future, get me to do what needs to be done now to become that person that I can be part of the future. Contributing, helping people, teaching people, whatever it is that will contribute to the future, the universe will respond totally. That's my belief. The universe will respond and help you.
let's touch upon patience, maybe, as well, because patience in, waiting during these times, and it's a bit of a thing. I know I struggle with it at times. I, put those intentions out there, like feel really good, and then like, oh, it's not coming, and that, that kind of mind thing starts. Or do you have anything around that? Do you have any suggestions, or what do you do yourself in those situations?
Well, lucky for me, I have an extremely patient partner. I mean, he has insights to the future, and he knows lots, and I trust in him, and I trust that that's true with him. That he's been with me for 10 years, and where I was 10 years ago was all like thinking that I can just go to a spiritual site, sit down, and go, and then be connected to God. And that wasn't my experience. I had to work through so many layers and filters and blocks to be who I am today. And I'm still not there yet. But things are happening all the time around me, magic. So it's like, you want patience, look for the magic that you're experiencing today. Like, get it to validate itself that you are receiving answers, you are receiving energy, and you are making choices that are beneficial for you for your future. The more that you can see these blessings coming in and pouring in every day, you can't help but just be like excited for what's coming for tomorrow versus impatient, because you're on the right track, you're making the right steps for your future. And then that just builds a trust inside of you that you will get what you need when you're ready to receive it. Because I certainly was not ready 10 years ago to receive where I'm at today. And there's a blessing. Like, I look on my whole last 10 years with like compassion and love for who I was and becoming who I am today. And it's a journey. But yeah, like, I get it about impatience. I mean, I want to live in a house on property. I don't have that. I don't have that right now. But it's like, I know it's going to happen in the future because I felt it. It's like these little moments like, oh, I feel like this is going to be a reality at some point. And I know that where I'm at right now is purposeful. For whatever reason it is, I'll know it later, but I'm right where I need to be right now. Yeah, so trust.
So basically trusting the moment, trusting the situation, trusting life, and
Yeah.
trusting your path is key here. When the, let's say, the mind starts twisting and turning your your beliefs of what should be and what shouldn't be.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have anything else you want to share
Well,
to kind
feels
of
good,
wrap?
Jake.
Okay, I think then we're done with the asking and receiving for now.
Perfect. Thanks for
And oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, thanks for doing this and having this open conversation. I love it when it flows like this and it's organic versus controlled.
And just for the people out there, do you do personal readings now and as well, like personal consultations?
Oh, loaded question. So, okay, my friend asked me that, Cindy, what's your ideal client? I said, I don't have one. I'm like, I don't want just one. I want like lots of people. There's so many people in this world that need help. And I'd like to talk on bigger scales. And then the next day, I got an email asking me for one-on-one consultation. And I was like, okay, so I'm a little bit confused on the messages that I'm getting from the universe, because then this invitation came up to have this conversation. So yes, I do offer one-on-one consultations, but again, it's an organic process.
I'll just and you do, the meditation and channeling. I'll add the links, in the below this conversation, below this video. And if you are curious about working with Cindy, you can contact her and work it out organically.
Yeah.
Let's do that. Okay.
Right.
Thanks a lot, everybody, and maybe we'll see you again soon.
All
Okay.
right. Bye-bye.
Bye.